my beloved child. Before this moment arrived, many invisible doors had already been moving in silence. You believed everything around you was ordinary, but heaven had been arranging details that your eyes could never notice. There is one person whose path has been crossing yours again and again, not because of coincidence, but because every meeting has been carrying a hidden purpose. You may have ignored the signs. You may have called them luck, timing, or accident. Yet every step has been leading toward the same destination. Today, I want you to listen carefully because this message is not about everyone. It is about the one heart that has been quietly connected to yours. The name has already been written where no human hand could erase it. You have wondered why certain people suddenly disappeared from your life while one connection refused to fade away. Every goodbye prepared space for one arrival. Every disappointment protected a future that was never meant to be stolen. Even during your lonely nights, when you thought no one understood your silent prayers, heaven was already preparing an answer. The answer was never coming through noise. It was always coming through one person. The story has already begun, but the biggest revelation has not yet appeared. There is something you have never been told. Every meaningful connection begins long before two people ever recognize each other. Sometimes the heart remembers what the mind has forgotten. That is why certain conversations feel strangely familiar. That is why one smile can remain in your thoughts for days without explanation. You may have tried to move forward, believing that chapter had ended forever. Yet every attempt to forget only brought another reminder. This is not because you are trapped in the past. It is because the future keeps calling you through memories you cannot explain. Look closely at the small moments you once ignored. A sudden thought. An unexpected meeting. A dream that stayed with you after sunrise. A feeling that refused to disappear. None of these arrived without purpose. They were gentle whispers pointing toward the person whose name has been protected until the perfect time. The timing was never late. It was being prepared with precision. Now the silence around this mystery is beginning to break, and every piece that once looked disconnected is slowly forming one complete picture. A remarkable shift has already started. You may not see it yet because the greatest changes often begin where human eyes cannot reach. While people around you focus only on what is visible, unseen preparations continue every single day. One conversation is getting closer. One unexpected message is getting closer. One meeting is getting closer. The distance between you and this person is becoming smaller with every passing moment. What once seemed impossible is quietly becoming possible. Even if circumstances appear confusing today, they are only temporary pages within a much greater story. Do not measure tomorrow by today's uncertainty. The path ahead is changing faster than you realize. Every obstacle that looked permanent is beginning to lose its power. Every delay has been carrying hidden protection. There were truths you needed to discover before this connection could become strong enough to last. Now those lessons are nearly complete. The next chapter will reveal why every previous chapter had to happen exactly the way it did. The moment you understand this, many unanswered questions will suddenly make perfect sense. There is another secret that few people ever recognize. The most valuable relationships rarely arrive with loud announcements. They begin quietly. They grow patiently. They become stronger while everyone else remains unaware. The person connected to this message may also be wondering why life keeps leading them toward the same invisible direction. They may not understand why your presence feels different from every other connection they have experienced. They only know something keeps bringing your paths closer together. Heaven has been shaping both journeys at the same time. While you were learning strength, they were learning patience. While you were overcoming fear, they were discovering courage. Two separate stories have been growing side by side without either of you seeing the complete picture. Now those stories are approaching the moment where they begin to touch. The surprise is greater than you imagine because the next revelation is not simply about meeting someone. It is about discovering why no other connection ever truly replaced this one. When that truth appears, everything that once felt incomplete will finally begin to make sense. The final part of today's message must remain hidden for only a little longer because the greatest revelation cannot be rushed. There is one detail about the name that has not yet been revealed. It is the detail capable of changing the way you remember every unusual event from your past. The clues have been surrounding you for longer than you realize. A familiar letter. A repeated coincidence. A conversation you almost ignored. A moment that seemed ordinary but refused to leave your memory. These pieces are waiting to come together at exactly the right moment. When they do, you will understand why this connection continued surviving every challenge placed before it. The next part will uncover the first unmistakable sign that separates an ordinary meeting from a once-in-a-lifetime connection. Until that revelation appears, keep your heart open because the story is only beginning, and the greatest surprise has not yet been spoken. A quiet truth is now ready to rise. The first unmistakable sign is not something dramatic that everyone around you can see. It is something deeply personal. The moment this person comes closer, your heart will experience a strange sense of peace before your mind finds an explanation. That feeling cannot be copied or forced. It arrives only when two paths have been guided toward the same destination for a long time. You may even question why this calm feels so different from anything you have experienced before. That question itself is part of the sign. While others search for excitement, this connection begins with certainty. While others depend on perfect circumstances, this connection grows stronger through honesty and patience. There will be moments when you think everything has become silent again. Do not mistake that silence for absence. Sometimes silence is where the greatest preparation happens. Every unseen moment has been shaping a future that is stronger than anything built in haste. Soon, one unexpected event will make you look back and realize that every delay carried a hidden purpose. Nothing meaningful was ever lost. Everything was simply being placed into its perfect position. Listen even more carefully now. There is another revelation that many people overlook. Before two lives truly come together, both hearts are often tested in different ways. One learns how to remain hopeful. The other learns how to remain faithful to what truly matters. These lessons are never punishments. They are preparations. Without them, even the strongest connection could lose its direction. That is why certain doors closed when you wanted them to stay open. That is why some people walked away even when you tried your best to keep them near. Those endings created space for something far greater than you could have imagined. The person connected to this message has also been walking through their own season of growth. They have faced moments of uncertainty, moments of waiting, and moments when they wondered if the right person would ever appear. Neither of you knew that your stories were quietly moving toward the same point. Every challenge became another step leading both of you closer to the meeting that has already been prepared. Now comes the part that changes everything. There is a detail about this person that will surprise you. When your paths begin to align, you will notice small patterns repeating with unusual consistency. Certain words will appear more than once. Familiar places may suddenly become important again. A memory you almost forgot could return with unexpected clarity. None of these moments should be dismissed as meaningless. They are gentle reminders that your story has been unfolding long before you recognized it. The connection will not depend on grand promises or impossible expectations. Instead, it will reveal itself through consistency, understanding, and a growing sense that every conversation has a purpose. You will begin noticing that what once felt confusing slowly becomes clear. Questions that remained unanswered for years will finally receive quiet but powerful answers. The more pieces come together, the more impossible it will feel to believe they were ever random. Every step will point toward one extraordinary truth that has been waiting patiently to be discovered. There is still one mystery that remains hidden. The name mentioned in the title is not meant to be uncovered through guessing or rushing. It will become meaningful because of what follows it. A single moment will arrive when something completely ordinary turns unforgettable. It may begin with a simple conversation. It may begin with an unexpected reunion. It may begin with a chance encounter that seems too perfectly timed to ignore. At first, everything will appear normal. Then another sign will appear. Then another. Piece by piece, the picture will become impossible to deny. You will realize that every unexpected turn in your life has quietly been leading toward this very point. What once looked like separate chapters will suddenly become one complete story. The closer that moment comes, the stronger your sense of expectation will become. Your heart will recognize what your eyes have not fully seen yet, and that recognition will become impossible to ignore. One final revelation must wait a little longer because it changes the meaning of everything you have heard so far. There is one hidden detail about this connection that has the power to transform the way you understand your own journey. It explains why certain opportunities disappeared, why unexpected delays happened, and why one path kept returning no matter how many times life seemed to move in another direction. That truth cannot be revealed all at once because its impact grows only when every previous piece has found its place. The next part will uncover the moment when the hidden name begins to reveal itself through unmistakable signs that can no longer be ignored. When that moment arrives, the story will move into a completely new chapter, and nothing will feel ordinary again. A new chapter is opening before you now. The hidden name does not appear through noise. It appears through patterns that become impossible to ignore. Soon, you will notice that one person begins to stand out from everyone else without trying to. Their words will remain in your mind longer than expected. Their kindness will feel natural instead of forced. Even the smallest conversations will leave behind a quiet feeling that refuses to disappear. This is the beginning of the revelation. Many people search for extraordinary signs while overlooking the simple moments that carry the greatest meaning. Do not make that mistake. The greatest answers often arrive dressed as ordinary moments. When you least expect it, one unexpected event will connect several memories that once seemed unrelated. In that instant, you will understand why certain chapters of your life never truly ended. They were waiting for this exact moment to reveal their purpose. The mystery is becoming clearer, but the most surprising truth is still hidden just beyond the next step. There is something even more remarkable taking place. While you have been wondering about your future, this person has also been experiencing moments they could never fully explain. They have felt an invisible pull toward a direction they could not describe. They have questioned why certain dreams, thoughts, or memories kept returning without reason. The answer is now beginning to unfold. Two separate journeys have been moving closer together with perfect timing. Every lesson you learned has prepared you to recognize this connection when it finally becomes clear. If this meeting had happened earlier, both of you might have overlooked its importance. But now, your experiences have given you the wisdom to see what was once hidden. That is why patience became one of the greatest gifts in your journey. It protected something valuable until the right season arrived. Now that season is approaching faster than you realize. Look closely at what happens next. A conversation that seems ordinary at first may carry far greater meaning than anyone realizes. A familiar place may suddenly become the setting for an unforgettable memory. A simple exchange of words may unlock emotions that have remained silent for a very long time. None of this happens by accident. Every detail has been quietly placed into position. You may even find yourself remembering something from the past at the exact moment you need that memory most. This is one of the strongest signs that the story is reaching an important turning point. The pieces are no longer scattered. They are beginning to connect with surprising clarity. Every unanswered question is moving closer to its answer. Every uncertain step is becoming more confident. The closer you move toward this person, the more your heart will recognize a peace that cannot be explained by logic alone. Now listen carefully because another revelation is about to unfold. The name itself is not the greatest miracle. The life that begins after the meeting is the true miracle. Together, you will discover strengths that neither of you knew existed. Encouragement will replace fear. Understanding will replace confusion. Hope will replace doubt. You will begin building moments that become lasting memories, and each new experience will remind you that every previous delay served a meaningful purpose. Suddenly, the disappointments of the past will lose their weight because you will finally understand what they were protecting you from. The future that once seemed uncertain will begin revealing itself one step at a time. Every new day will feel like another page of a story that has been carefully written long before either of you understood where it was leading. This realization will change the way you see your entire journey. One final mystery remains for now. There is a specific sign connected to this person that will appear when the timing is exactly right. It will be so clear that you will not need anyone else to explain its meaning. The moment it happens, every doubt that once filled your heart will begin to disappear. You will realize that nothing meaningful was ever delayed without purpose. Every closed door, every unexpected turn, and every season of waiting prepared you for this extraordinary chapter. In the next part, the final hidden clues surrounding the name will begin to come into the light, and the revelation waiting since the beginning of this journey will finally move one step closer to being fully understood.